Ready? Okay. Welcome to the regular meeting of the El Centro City Council for Tuesday, February 3rd. I'd like to ask the clerk to please take roll.
Councilmember Sanders.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
Here.
Mayor Silva.
Present.
Councilmember Villegas Walker.
Here.
And Councilmember Cardenas.
Present.
Thank you. We'll have the pledge by Councilmember Jackson and the invocation by Councilmember Walker, please.
Please join me. Ready, begin.
You could please remain standing and bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you at this time asking for your guidance and wisdom as we contemplate the issues before this council. May we always be focused on doing what's right and what's best for all concerned within our community. We pray that we have hearts of gratitude, recognizing the many blessings that you bestow upon us. We ask that you help us to be ever mindful of those less fortunate, those that need a gentle hand, a word of encouragement, a hug. And we ask a special blessing this evening on the Richter family, the loss of their dear son, Preston. May you please just touch that family, give them peace, give them comfort, and let them know that there are so many around that share in their grief. And may we just be a comfort to them at this very, very difficult time. And to all other families that are suffering the loss of a loved one or some other tragedy, we ask that you heal them, comfort them, and may we be instruments of thy peace. These things we ask in thy precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Walker. Next item on the agenda is a number of scheduled public comments, and first we'll have our monthly report from the El Centro Chamber of Commerce with President Les Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's nice to be here as always. Welcome, council members. Nice to see you all. First, I'd like to congratulate you, Mayor Silva, on the success of the State of the City back in January. I received a lot of good feedback through the chamber that it was very well received, so it was very nice to be a part of it and assist. Thank you. The chamber is quite excited and happy that you and I will be traveling to Mexicali again tomorrow. Mayor Silva and I will be meeting with the economic development people and some of the tourism industry down there, so it's great that we're able to start getting the relationship built. And so hopefully, as we spoke earlier, we'll have confirmation of our meeting with the mayor of Mexicali coming up in the next couple of weeks as well. Congratulations to the city. It was nice to attend the groundbreaking of the new skate park, a great facility in the works that'll be very well utilized, I'm sure, and appreciated by all of the community. Last week, Mayor Silva and I attended a tour of the C4 facility down in Mexicali, and it was a very impressive tour, brand new, very modern, state-of-the-art, total emergency dispatch center for all of Mexicali. And truly amazing with all of the technology that they have in place with cameras monitoring all over the city, the GPS application that they have to find people when they call in on their cell phones, and the fact that everything from the military on down to the Red Cross is all in a common room, utilizing every aspect of an emergency dispatch. So it was very impressive tour.
It was very impressive. I was very impressed with the technology, and I was going to mention in my report, but some of the safety features for people, visitors, and other people in Mexicali, I was not even aware of some of the technology and the availability of urgent calls and 911 calls and panic buttons, and there's a whole array of measures in Mexicali that I think will make the people feel safer if they knew that those things were available in Mexicali. For example, if you have a U.S. phone and you're out of service for your service company and you happen to be in Mexicali, you can still dial 911 and it'll connect to their 088 emergency number,
66,
which is their
yeah.
911, automatically. I did not know that.
It also then will display a GPS app that you can utilize, and they can locate your exact position from that and come and help you. So they're working very, very hard to improve their image and the safety of the whole area down there.
They have an app that if you have it in your phone, there's a feature in the app that has a panic button, and you press that, it'll let them know that you're in a panic situation. You don't have to speak anymore. It automatically turns on your speaker so that they can hear what's going on with what urgency you may have, and they know where you are, and they'll send an emergency vehicle to attend to you. So one of the things that came out of that as we were leaving is finding the right forum for the Mexicali to come over and make that presentation over here on this side of the border, because I think a lot of us, like myself, did not know the whole scope of services that are available down there. It was very impressive.
Yes. I also had the privilege of attending Rear Admiral Shoemaker's change of command ceremony at North Island in Coronado on board the aircraft carrier, the John C. Stennis. So it was very nice to be over there representing the Imperial Valley. Darletta Willis, our CEO, was there from the Imperial Valley, as well was Marlene Best from the city of Imperial. It was a very nice ceremony. Proud to have been there. And then in closing, Saturday night, this coming Saturday night, February 7th, is our air show gala out at NAFL Centro to help show the community's support of the Blue Angels Air Show and make hopefully a very significant contribution to help fund the air show again. So
Thank you.
that concludes my report. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Smith?
I just had a quick comment. I just want to say I really also appreciate your leadership with our chamber, and to see you take time to go down to Mexicali with our mayor. It just really shows a lot of character in your leadership, and it's been an exciting 6-7 months, and the energy that you've brought has just been, very appreciative. So keep it up, and we appreciate your reports every quarter.
Thank you very much. I intend to.
And by the way, Councilman Cardenas is also joining us tomorrow
Yeah.
to the trip. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
International
Smith.
incident.
Okay,
Waiting to happen.
next item on the agenda, we have our introduction of new officers, both two-legged kind and four-legged kind, right?
Yes. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. Tonight, we do have some introductions and some recognition. I want to start off by thanking and recognizing our training sergeant, Damian Valdez, who's put in a tremendous amount of work. I think in less than a year, he's been responsible for allowing us to hire over 10 employees with the work that he's done. So really thankful to him. One of those employees we hired on January 5th. She's our newest animal control officer, Shanda Ariola, in the light blue shirt. Shanda comes to us with a tremendous amount of experience in dealing with animals. In 2003, she was a part-time animal control officer with us. So we're fortunate when we advertised this position. She was interested in coming back as a full-time. Brings a lot of experience. Now she's partnered up with our other animal control officer, Mario Moreno. So she's been at it for a couple weeks now. So we're really happy to have her. This morning, we hired our newest police officer. The city manager was there. Our city clerk swore her in. We have Michelle Donnelly. Both of these ladies are local. I had met Officer Donnelly at IVC, some classes that I taught out there, so I know especially our mayor likes to hear the IVC connection, and Shanda's also taking some classes out there. So today we swore in Officer Donnelly, and she'll start her field training program. Within hopefully 16 weeks, she'll be out on her own. So we have those two. I don't know if
Yeah,
I can give them a chance to say a few words.
Can both of the new employees join us and tell us a little bit about yourself? Since you're an IVC student, I'm sure you're going to be very eloquent.
Hello, I'm Officer Donnelly. I'm an Administration of Justice major at IVC. I'm really excited to begin working as a police officer for the city of El Centro. I'm very, very excited, and I hope to do great things for the city. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
job. Thank you.
I'm Officer Ariola, the new ACO. I'm glad I'm back again. I missed the position. I'm just thankful that I actually got the position, and I'm ready to go out. And that's about it.
Awesome, amazing.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
So we have two more police officers. Most of you were able to meet them last Wednesday. Thank you to Spectrum, who put out a great video. We were able to put that on our department Facebook page too. We have and they interview them later, and they said, yeah, I gave up because of the dogs. So
Wow.
that's where we hope to increase the officer safety, not only for our officers, but for suspects, to make them think twice and say, okay. Sometimes they're willing to take on police officers. So far, they've been unwilling to take on our newest officers, so that's great. And then with that,
And I thought it's very cool that after the oath that the dogs officially paw printed the certificate to make that official. That was very cool.
yeah, then the community's been very receptive, and we'll have more to report as far as some of our local service clubs stepping up, so that'll come in the future. So if we can move on to one last thing. Starting this program, I have to give a lot of credit to Commander Robert Sawyer. He's been wanting a K-9 unit probably from the day we hired him many, many years ago. Kept telling him no, no, no. Then finally it was maybe, and then it's like, okay, let's do this. And he threw himself into it, did a tremendous amount of work, along with our K-9 handlers and many other employees. But someone who provided exceptional service to us was a CHP officer. And I want to recognize the California Highway Patrol as a whole. And we have the commander, Captain Kerry Clark, is in the audience, and also Lieutenant Proctor. They've been very helpful. We pride ourselves on the partnerships with not only community, but other law enforcement agencies. But if I can call up Officer Gonzalez. We told him we wanted him in the audience just so we could say, hey, thank you, but it's a little more than that. We have a plaque. If I can read it real quick, it says, in recognition of California Highway Patrol Officer Robert Bobby Gonzalez, with great appreciation and recognition for your assistance, support, and encouragement in the planning and execution of the El Central Police Department K-9 program. Your experience, motivation, commitment, and dedication to the development of our K-9 program has been invaluable, and it truly has. From traveling to Banning to help us select our animals, to sitting on the oral board to select our handlers, it's just completely been invaluable. We can never repay him, but we figured we'll start with at least a plaque. So.
Thank you very much.
One other person that we need to recognize here is Bobby's wife, because Bobby's made himself invaluable to us. He's been available after hours, on weekends, and even cut one of his vacations short to be able to attend one of the selection services in Banning with us. So I wanted to thank his lovely wife for allowing us to bug him on the after hours and being there to support him as well. But we're very excited about the program. We could not have been as successful as we are without the assistance of Bobby Gonzalez and the Highway Patrol. Not only Officer Gonzalez, but his partner, Gil Cardenas, have been available to come out and assist us, and we look forward to being able to return the favor to them. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Chief Madueño, don't go too far. I'm going to take this time to recognize some individuals. As you have read the paper over the last 2 weeks, there was a couple of bomb threats over at Central Union High School, and because of the professionalism, dedication, and expertise of our police department, they were able to handle both of those situations. Councilmember Cardenas asked me to, very appropriately, to issue some certificates of recognition, so we're going to do that at this point in time. But I'm going to ask Councilmember Cardenas to please make some comments first, then we'll pass it over to the chief.
Yeah, I appreciate Mayor Silva and council members for allowing us to take this time. And I just wanted to just share kind of a personal testimony, because my daughter attends Central Union High School, and you know, never before did I experience an opportunity or a situation or a crisis like I did when they had the shooting threat at the high school. And when Central Union High School calls your house at 5:45 in the morning telling you to keep your child at home because there's a potential shooting threat, it's a pretty eye-awakening type of experience. And but what I'm more pleased about is the professionalism and the police work on the part of El Centro PD. And I felt that it'd be appropriate to recognize those 4 individuals. I know it was a collaborative effort in terms of the resources involved, but there's 4 people in here that I'm very appreciative for and grateful, not only to them, but to you, Chief. But, you know, to make a decision to close down our school is something that's not done very lightly, and it takes a lot of information, everything from our resource officer to the officer who took the call to our sergeant and commanders and those involved. It's just an incredible effort. And most importantly, the fact that we were able to administer justice as well and catch them. And I think it sends a strong message to our community that we are going to take these threats seriously and that we're going to do whatever we can to catch them. And that's what we did. And I asked the mayor if it would be appropriate to recognize your staff members. And without a doubt, he said that it would be very appropriate. So we would use this as an opportunity. So again, I want to thank you not only as a council member, but as a parent. I want you to just personally thank your staff for keeping our schools safe. And not only that, but the collaborative effort that you have with not only you know, our local schools and developing the MOUs and having those MOUs in place and reviewing those emergency crisis plans all the time. I mean, that's just incredible work. And again, I want to thank our council member, Mr. Duran, and all our city staff for keeping our schools safe. And with that, I just, we would like to recognize, and again, I thank you, Mayor Silva, for taking the time.
Do you want to add anything, Chief?
No, I mean, I'm very proud of all of our employees. You know, they took it serious. They worked literally through the night to get justice, and we believed really strongly we had to send a strong message that we're not going to take this lightly, and it isn't a joke, and caused a lot of upheaval for
Yes.
the school district and anxiety for parents and students. So as usual, I'm very proud of our employees.
Thank you, Chief. So if I can ask the council to please join me in the front, and then we'll issue some certificates to some officers. I'll read the certificate, and they all read the same, so I'll only read one. Presented to the officers for your response to Central Union High School social media gun threat. Your outstanding performance and loyal devotion to duty reflected great credit upon yourself and the El Centro Police Department. So first recognition goes to Officer Steven Singh. Our next certificate of recognition goes to Officer Efrain Coronel. Next recognition goes to Detective Luis Hernandez. Next certificate goes to Sergeant Aaron Messick. And our last recognition goes to Sergeant John Seaman. And let's stay here for the next recognition, which I skipped because it's under public comments, but I'd like to call Joanna Caballero from the then Senator Ben West's office to join me because she's got a certificate to issue to our officer that was instrumental.
Thank you, Mayor Silva and council members. Yes, I'm here on behalf of Senator Ben Wesso, and I would like to present a certificate of senatorial recognition to Officer Robert C. Gonzalez of the California Highway Patrol for being very instrumental in the K-9 unit. And I'm just going to go ahead and read what the certificate says. And it says, I, Ben Wesso, express my deepest gratitude for your outstanding service to the City of El Centro's Police Department for being instrumental in the planning, implementation, and development of its K-9 unit, and for being the consummate professional, proving yourself invaluable to the public safety of the Imperial Valley community. So not only did he help the City of El Centro itself, but just his qualifications and what he brings to the whole Imperial Valley community is very invaluable. So again, on behalf of Senator Ben Wesso, thank you.
I'll come shake your hand.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, you're gonna go all the way out, or?
Okay. Thanks all of you for coming. We have another scheduled presentation, and that's by Mr. Mario Chacon regarding concerns on the malfunctioning pedestrian crosswalk at Barbara Worth and Imperial Avenue. So, Mr. Chacon, are you here?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members. I'm not for the speaker, but I just want to say something. That light's been inoperable for 5 months, but it got fixed this past week, and I just want to say thank you. You know, I don't know, it's because, I don't know how politics works, but it got fixed, and I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you
like-
for coming and let us know that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's like Boss Bismarck once said, two things you don't ever want to see, politics and sausage making, so.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, thank you for still making the trip. We appreciate that.
All right. Now, I was going to speak up 2 other issues, but I'm not prepared to discuss them right now because I don't have information, and rather take up your time and just make conjectures. I'd rather just table that item for another time, if I may.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have a number of requests for public comment, so I'm going to take the privilege of the chair and move those up to now, so that way people that are here don't have to wait until the end of the meeting to provide those public comments. So I'm going to call John Hernandez to the podium, please. John? Of course.
Microphone.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Adu Minizan. I have been in the Central since 1991, and I love to be here. To begin my presentation or express my concern, I would like to tell a small story. I know you have many officers, law enforcement officers in this meeting. So to begin, I would like to give the story of mafia, the meaning of mafia. And I believe that some police officers, law enforcement will know what that means. But however, I would like to describe what means mafia. Mafia means morte, aka Francisca Italian Angela, is a Latin word, meaning death to French soldiers. The mafia began in Sicily, small village located in Italy. What happened? There was a wedding. French soldier kidnapped the bride, rape her, and kill her. So the small village, they had to avenge the death of the lady, the bride. Her name was Angela. So we decided to organize a small group, and which we did. Thereafter, we become powerful. So the farmer, the small farmers saw on that location, we had to pay money to them to get protection. As a result, this group will become powerful and destructive. Now, what I'm going to say, somebody will say, what have to do with being a Centro? I'm here tonight to tell this council what I'm going through, what I see, what I have observed. Things are out of control. However, before I say this, I want to congratulate El Centro PD, because anytime you call them, despite their busy schedule, difficult job, they always find a way to come to assist you. I have a couple houses located in 125, 129 West Orange. In 2014, people, they vandalized that place. It cost more or less $20,000. The place was fixed. Recently, they keep destroying the property. Now I'm broke, I can fix it. I'm scared to call insurance because it's ridiculous, excuse me for my language. So I'm here to express my concern. I'm just a poor guy, I don't have the power, but I do believe that the county, the city, have the means to try to resolve that problem because is total out of control. You do have a small group of people. They had nothing to do just to go from house to house, church to church, church to church. Remove the carpet. I believe the $40. The $40 of carpet we are going to remove will cost the homeowner maybe $20,000, maybe more than that. And this is, I think, is ridiculous. But I can do something. But I'm here tonight to ask your help because I don't know what I have to do. My water bill, I used to pay $135. Now I pay $400 or $500 every month.
Okay. Mr. Menesan, we have a long agenda, so can I ask you to wrap up your comments in the next 30 seconds, please?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor, whatever. Anyway, I need help.
And so the help, if I understood you, the help that you're looking for has to do with what? Tell me more.
Okay, I'll make quick. Two things. These people, they steal these copies. Where they go to sell, they have a buyer. So I was wondering if there's any way the city can come up with some kind of ordinance to try to manage, to discourage these people, because once they steal this place they go to sell, it's so easy for them to sell.
Okay. What's the second item that you want us to consider?
Well, I do have some idea, but I don't think I have a time to discuss my suggestions. So
Okay.
if I can meet somebody to make some suggestion, maybe it will help our cause.
Okay, very well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, John Hernandez?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Dominizan has been a friend of mine for many years, and he comes to us from Africa to live the American dream. And what he's living is a nightmare. He's living this nightmare because of rampant burglaries and vandalism in his rental units. He's trying to make ends meet, and it's not helping his health. His glaucoma, he's now going blind. He really can't. Mr. Minizan, in his younger years, was in law enforcement, so he's quite a bright man. But now he was out blind and unable to do too much. He's just wanting to reach out and ask help. Now, the problems in the area, since the last time that I tried to address some of these issues, we did sit down, the chief was very forthcoming and met with people, but the community is scared. The community is intimidated. The community has been retaliated against for speaking out, and nobody wants to say anything. When I'm around, they tell me, aren't you scared? Aren't you scared to come out and try to help people? And I say, no, I'm not scared. I was born right there in the middle of that neighborhood. And I still have the desire to see that neighborhood progress. But what I'm seeing is it's worse now than it was when I first tried to address the issue. And it's the same people. It's the same people. And every time I go into the neighborhood, because I'm asked, I'm called, I see the same thing over and over. So there needs to be a plan, there needs to be an organized effort, there needs to be that part of the community addressed also, and that's my comment for today.
Thank you, Johnny. Maybe what I'd like to suggest is that you and the chief and I get together in the next few weeks and just us and kind of begin to strategize, because we did make an effort to have some community meetings over at the community center that started a little strong and it kind of dwindled over time, and but perhaps we need to try something different. So we'll do that, Mr. Hernandez. Johnny. Okay. All right, a couple of more comments and then we'll be done with this. I'd like to call Pastor Chris Nunn.
Good evening, everyone. You guys doing well? I wanted to begin by expressing my appreciation to the City of El Centro for the great working environment that you permit us. And we have a great relationship with the city, and we just feel blessed to be a part of it, a part of the fabric that makes up this community and makes El Centro a place that is really worthwhile settling down and raising your family. So I just want to thank you guys before I begin.
Thank you.
I'm here in part to represent the voice of our congregation. Our congregation is quite diverse, made up of many different age groups and ethnicities. We're comprised of many young families. We're growing at that young family rate, as evidenced by this last week. We had over 200 children in our Sunday school. So we have a lot of young families, and that's the voice that I'm here to try to help maybe you come to an agreement with or to understand, so that you can understand what's making our hearts beat when it comes to this issue. The voice of our congregation is also echoed by 73% of voters here locally in El Centro. They voted in support of parental notification, which was last on the ballot in the form of Proposition 4 in 2008. Polls show that Latino population in our community is even more pro-life, and they support parental notification to the tune of 81%. These voices, along with the voices that you yourselves have, and I myself have, make up a collective voice in our community. You've each been elected and really given a burden to represent this voice. And it's a burden and a responsibility that I do not envy. And I want you to know that whatever Christ Community Church can do, whatever aid I can lend you in helping make sure that the voice of this community is heard and heeded, we are willing to lend. While entering into a transfer agreement with Planned Parenthood doesn't accurately reflect the moral compass of our city, I have not come here to argue the morality of abortion at this time. As a pastor, I believe that you know exactly where I stand on this issue. I've seen many lives destroyed by guilt and shame that follows men and women who have been involved in abortion of some sort or some kind. At this time, what I am questioning, though, is the prudence of a city-owned hospital entering into a transfer agreement with a clinic that will result in the assumption of great financial risk. Many of the patients who will seek out the services of Planned Parenthood will be coming from Mexico, where abortion is illegal. These will almost exclusively be cash-paying customers, and I ask you, who will be responsible in the event that an emergency procedure needs to take place when these women come in and something happens at this clinic and they need to be transferred? The answer to that is every citizen who calls El Centro home. The effects of this will be seen in resources being siphoned away from care that we all need. I worry that there'll be an increase in costs. I worry that there'll be less staffing because there'll be less in the budget to provide for adequate care. I ask you, is it fair to ask a community that is so pro-life to pay the cost of these procedures going wrong at a local clinic? Are you as council members willing to assume that risk on the behalf of the city? Now, I feel it's important at this time to stress that I'm no way advocating for the denial of a woman being treated who is in need. If a woman was at the front door of the hospital bleeding and in need of attention, there's no way that I would say that the hospital should not treat that woman. If I could treat her, if I had the power to treat her or the knowledge to treat her, I would treat her myself. But what I'm attempting to point out is that this transfer agreement does not have to be signed by the city hospital. And if the transfer agreement is not signed, abortions will not take place, and the need for emergency procedures will therefore not be there. So the whole thing can be avoided by not signing this transfer agreement. I hope you see the difference there. We're not advocating that women should not be treated or that anyone should not be treated. We're saying if you do not sign this agreement, those abortions will not take place, which will then cause the emergency procedure to need to happen at El Centro Regional. I understand that at this point, this issue is not before you directly as a governing board. However, eventually, you will be impacted by this decision, as we all will. The Board of Trustees will be deciding this in 3 short weeks, February 24th. And I hope that you can use whatever platform you have to reach out to them to voice the concerns of your constituency. Any decision that they make will directly or indirectly reflect upon you as the board who has at your discretion appointed these people, but also the decision that they make directly impacts and reflects upon the community that they therefore represent. Please do what you can to make sure that the voice of the people of your city is heard. That's basically what I'm trying to say is overwhelmingly and consistently, the city of El Centro has always voted along pro-life lines. And so I'm asking you, since this is a city-owned hospital, to make sure that the city-owned hospital is looking out for the pulse and the voice of the community. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to contact me. I'll be available. I'd love to sit down with you guys one-on-one if you want a little bit more information. And again, I hope you hear my tone here. My tone here is not accusatory. My tone here is not trying to be combative. We don't want to be adversaries on this, but we want you to know that we are advocating against Planned Parenthood opening here in the Valley because of the destruction that it could cause in the lives of so many people.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, can I have some follow-up questions? I know we have a long agenda, but could I just ask a couple questions? And again, I may defer to the trustees of the hospital, but I know that it was on the agenda last week, and was there any action as a result to this transfer agreement, or can we kind of get an update on what transpired at the?
Okay, is that question directed to Pastor Nunn or to yours truly as a member, your appointed member to the board?
Yours truly.
Oh, to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No, there was no agreement made. Pastor Nunn did make some comments at that last meeting, along with several others. I think we had standing room only, as I recall. They had a candlelight visual that was also held in the parking lot on that particular evening. They were praying for us as we walked to our respective positions inside the module where the office for the meeting. The board at that time, the trustees at that time, took a position to direct some of the inquiries that were being posed by those who spoke in opposition, and predominantly everyone was in opposition, to our legal counsel. And legal counsel is undergoing a research, and then we will be having this come back, and Pastor Nunn is quite correct, is scheduled to come back at our meetings scheduled for the end of this month.
And Councilmember Sanders, and I'm not asking for a legal opinion, but maybe just some information, but in order for Planned Parenthood to operate in the city of El Centro, are they required to have this transfer agreement? And again, I'm not asking for a legal opinion because I know that's not your area, but is there some insight you can share?
At this time, unfortunately, I am not able to give you that information with any amount of clarity. I would hope that the council will allow, the city council will allow the board of trustees to deal with this, and I will be happy to report out at the appropriate time.
And just one follow-up question. I mean, there appears to be a strong opposition against it. I did stop by, and there must have been over 500 people there at the board of trustees or the hospital trustees. But if citizens are in opposition to this, what and again, I'm not asking for legal advice but what would you encourage them to do in terms of voicing their opposition?
Well, I think that we've already seen what they're capable of doing, and that is voicing it in a public forum. They've come here, and Pastor Nunn has certainly let us know in no uncertain terms that he is opposed to it. Certainly that evening, they did likewise. They let us know that they were opposed to it. Every part of this equation will be thoroughly researched and looked at to make sure that the city, as well as the hospital, and more importantly, those board of trustees that we have duly appointed, will act in the best interest. And until all of the information unfolds, it will be hard-pressed for me at this time to answer that question.
Can I just ask one more? I appreciate it, because I apologize. But I've been receiving a lot of emails, and is it under your opinion, is it your opinion that ultimately the CEO has the decision to sign that transfer agreement, or is it up to the board, or is it up to the trustees to make that decision?
Mr. Cardenas, I appreciate your inquiries, and certainly I appreciate the fact that you're trying to develop a process for yourself to become a little bit more comfortable with this very uncomfortable situation that we find ourselves in. There's no question this is an uncomfortable position for all of us. It may play against some of our own religious beliefs. It may play against some of our own personal beliefs. But until all of the facts are brought forward, then I think it would be most appropriate, Mr. Mayor, that I refrain from trying to answer that question at this time. As was stated, this is a public comments portion. There's nothing here for action. And if I go too far, and I think Pastor Nunn certainly understands that, if I go too far in saying things, that would deprive my colleagues that are trustees the opportunity to weigh in on this issue.
I think that there's a lot of unknowns at this point in time, so we'll let the process play out and get legal advice from the hospital's council as well as the city council, and then we'll have the meeting.
If I may ask one more question, how soon, when this information is gathered, will that become public knowledge? Will that not become public knowledge until the 24th of February, when the Board of Trustees meets?
It is,
or-
well, it is my understanding, as you were, I think you stayed for that portion of the meeting, Pastor Nunn. It is my understanding that when the attorneys do their research and come back, yes, that will be presented at the meeting for the full Board of Trustees to have, I want to say, their legal analysis. It's not a legal opinion, but certainly their legal analysis, which will then play into whether or not in the decision that will ultimately be made by the members of the Board of Trustees.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
I want
Pastor.
to thank, Mr. Mayor, if I may, I want to thank Mr. Cardenas for his inquiries. We hope that he might choose to join us over there. Well, he wouldn't be able to because there would be 3 of us in attendance. But if he said he was outside in the parking lot, he can certainly do that. And when the meeting is over, someone will be able to share with him the action.
Thank you,
that's
Madam
taken
Mayor.
place.
I'm sorry, so I did hear that I cannot be in attendance then?
No, because there's 3 of, I'm on the board as the voting member. The mayor is on there as ex officio, so if you come, there will be 3 members of the
Right.
city council.
But is that a correct statement, Ms. Becker?
You know, I'm gonna need to I'm gonna need to confirm that. I think that is a correct statement, but let me look into it to confirm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's move on. Actually, I have a couple of more public comments, and then I'm going to also modify the agenda, Diane, and I'm going to move item 8 up as well so that Mr. Dale can move on with his business and not stay the whole night, so get ready for that.
Well, he's used to it. He knows how it is.
Elliot Marty, please. Mike Morales.
Good evening, council members. I want to thank you for your service to the city. My name is Marty Ellett. I work at the hospital in the emergency room. Been there 11 years, going on 12. And we have come a long way. We certainly have lots of issues to overcome. Overcrowding is a big, big issue. But I'm here to say I'm very happy very proud actually of our management team at the ER and how far we have come in moving patients through and keeping it as safe as we can. It's not over, but you know, we've come a long way. And the hospital, I mean, I enjoy going to work. As I'm going to work, I pray for our hospital, our administrators, my colleagues, and the hospital is a place of mercy and a place of healing. And if you're not like comfortable with serving people, you're not going to last very long there. It just doesn't fit. But on the other hand, Planned Parenthood is not. I mean, Planned Parenthood, let me just state this clearly with the facts. Planned Parenthood is the largest abortion provider in our country and probably the world, unless you compare them to the government of Russia or the government of China. They are the largest abortion provider in our country. They compete with all the other abortion clinics. And living in a pro-life community, our community considers itself pro-life by a large margin. And for a Planned Parenthood clinic to be opening up in our community with no public input, no foreknowledge, it just appears overnight, is outrageous. And I am for one, and I'm also representing the Real Hope Center. We are a pregnancy resource center that is funded completely by private donations on Main Street. My wife is the manager. She's here now. Here's Sister Debbie. She's here now. And we deal with firsthand, because we also do post-abortion recovery, I don't know, studies, whatever you want to call them, we do post-abortion recovery because of what Pastor Chris had just shared. Many lives are ruined and after they have an abortion. It is not just a simple procedure. And so we are in, this is a dichotomy. This doesn't fit. And I understand that this is not even the board that's dealing with it right now, it's the hospital board. But you are over the hospital board. And I understand that you may feel that you're between a rock and a hard spot, that you really can't do anything. But I'm very frustrated. If that's the sense that I'm getting from boards, I'm very frustrated with that. The hospital does not have to sign. There's no legal pressure for our hospital to sign that agreement and have developed this relationship with Planned Parenthood. So I'm just expressing, maybe another date we'll get on the agenda and talk more about this, a lot more specifics. I did want to give you these because this is not just my opinion. This is all noted in this little pamphlet that I have. It's that's probably the smallest, most complete pamphlet that I have about Planned Parenthood. The founder, I just want to leave you with this. The founder is Margaret Sanger. She was a racist. Her goal, stated, you can read it for yourself, I think it's page 10, you see her quotes, was to eliminate people of color, black people, Hispanic people, and some of the quotes that we attribute to her are stated here. People who should never have been born is one of her quotes. Human weeds, useless eaters, things like that. Here we are in about a 90% Hispanic area, and we have Planned Parenthood who targets blacks and Hispanics all across our country. And I'll bring documentation for that. Here in our city. This is just, in my opinion, outrageous. Now, Pastor Chris he was not addressing the morality of abortion, but I am. It's outrageous. And so I'm very concerned. I believe that the church in this county is going to pray Planned Parenthood right out of our county. I think that's almost a given. That will almost assuredly happen. I cannot see that not happening. But, so that's not the question. The question is, where do you stand? Where does our leadership stand representing our community? This is what really, really concerns me. Dante, I'm just going to quote Dante. Dante said, "The hottest places in hell are reserved for people that live in a time of great moral crisis and do nothing." Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I want to speak to Marty. If I may I use your first name, Marty?
Sure, yes, please.
Thank you. Marty called me several days, I think it was, after the hospital meeting. And the question he posed to me at that time was whether or not that transfer agreement, in fact, had been signed. He thought he had seen a date and a signature. I told him I would get back with him. So I would like to speak to that issue now, if I may, Mr. Mayor. What you saw, Marty, was a date, and that signature was that date and time for that to appear on the agenda as an information item. As an information item. Okay, thank you.
I'm very happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Marty. Okay. Mike Morales.
Mr. Mayor and council members, I don't envy your positions. It's been a tough night. I just wanted to thank you guys. I received the MOU Thursday, and I wanted to thank you guys for taking the position to review one of the items that was in part of the negotiations, which was the reclassification. Okay, I appreciate you guys taking the time and weighing that out for us. I had one question, and that was because the MOU I received just says that it will be reviewed. Can I get some kind of timeline or a little bit more than just being reviewed? I don't know if this is the appropriate avenue to ask this or not, but, because I haven't signed the MOU just yet, and I haven't presented it to my members just yet, but I would like to get a little clarification so that I have something to relate to them as well.
Let me look to Mr. Duran to see if are we able to provide a timeline, Mr. Duran, at this point in time?
No, and I'm not sure what the issue of you not presenting, that is a settled matter. I think an inquiry, if you'd like to, is to contact the Human Resources Department about the schedule and what the efforts are. It's on our, we have direction from council to do this, that will move forward. It is not an overnight review, as you know. So with that, but as for the other matters that you mentioned, I'm not even sure what that means. We haven't adopted MOU. So with that, we'll move forward with all aspects of that MOU.
Could I ask some questions, Mr. Mayor? I mean, I would encourage that a timeline be provided. I just don't think we would leave that open-ended, and, there's some ambiguity there, and I would hope, I think it's a fair inquiry as far as a timeline goes. I just wouldn't, I'm just curious why there wouldn't be a timeline.
I think the expectation is that the will of the council, which was to go forward with the evaluation and research be done prior to the start of the next negotiations, which is going to be in March. That's the timeline that I understood.
We'll present to council where we're at with that and what the results of our findings are, but we're not prepared to respond to that.
Right. So I concur with Ms. Walker. I think our intention is to have that process completed in time for the next cycle of negotiations, which should be sometime around March, April, assuming that everything is completed as we are expecting. So I don't know that there's a definitive timeline. It's coming soon.
Well, could I ask why that's not included in the MOU? I mean, I understand, we have a sense, but why wouldn't that language be in the MOU to share, to say, this is the expectation? I mean, I think it's a very valid option, but I'm just curious to why that's not in the MOU.
I'd say because it's not a term or condition of employment. It's very similar to some of the other things that we've asked the Human Resources Department and the city manager to look into with regard to all MOUs. And because it's not a term and condition of employment, it doesn't really belong in
Not at this time.
Can I ask why that's not shared with them verbally to say, look, this is our intention, instead of leaving it, again, with what my opinion is, with ambiguity as far as, well, when is this thing going to be looked at?
I guess what I don't understand is why somebody didn't pick up the phone and either talk to the city manager or the HR department and say, we understand that the direction of the council is to move forward with an evaluation of the reclassification. When might that be done? And if either the city manager or the HR department doesn't respond to that question, then I think we have a problem. But until the question is asked, I don't know how you anticipate a response. So I guess that would be my question. Has there been outreach to either the city manager or the HR department?
I reached out to Mrs. Brownlee, and I will say that I did not pose that question to her.
Okay.
But she did inform me of what your intent was as far as what type of review or whom would be doing the reviewing. Okay. But once again, that's why I just wanted, because it was pretty vague, I wanted to get an idea, and I kind of believe that you have somewhat answered my question. Your intentions are to have it done before the next negotiation round.
Right.
Okay, and that's pretty much what at least I can tell my employees that I represent that. And
Mr. Jackson, I think that I'm seeing everybody's head shaking yes, yes, yes. Okay,
Yes.
there you go.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Morales.
And I just wanted to end it with saying that I, myself representing these employees as a Teamster representative, I hope that whomever does conduct the review, that we can come up with an unbiased opinion so that both parties feel comfortable with this. Not only the city, but the employees themselves. Because if we can't come to some kind of resolution, this will be an ongoing issue. And personally, I'd like to see the end of it, you know, come to some kind of resolution on this. I think for both parties' benefits, because I'm just a middleman here, but, you know, I think it would benefit the employees as well as the cities as far as their morale, their productivity, and their value to their job in itself. So, you know, I'd just like for everyone to keep that in mind as well. And
I have a question, a follow-up
yes,
question, because I think that's an interesting comment that you just made. So if there is the evaluation done, and it's deemed to be done by an expert that comes back and says the reclassification is not warranted, is the bargaining unit willing to accept that opinion?
well, to answer your question, if it was an expert,
Yes.
let's say a identity that does this type of
Right,
study.
that's what I'm saying.
And that is what they, that is their profession, then absolutely yes.
Okay,
But
perfect.
what I have been told is that what is intended to take place is to get an HR director from one of these local cities here in the valley and a public works supervisor from someone here in the valley as well, and conduct the study. Well, then, they are not professionals in that field. They don't conduct studies and analysis of this sort to determine if, in fact, an employee should be reclassified and if their wages are compatible with that reclassification. So would it be unbiased? It would be hard to say. And the reason I say that is
Mr.
because.
Mayor, I don't mean to interfere, sir, with your comments, but to me, we're getting
Yeah,
very
get a
close to
little
the
ahead of
line to
ourselves.
And that was not my
negotiation.
intention when
And I
was just
appreciate
answering.
your questions, and I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
that the
agree.
council appreciate, but to me, it sounds like the
little too far
direction
ahead
of
of
your
ourselves.
questions are getting a little close to the line for negotiations.
Right.
And you understand negotiations, and you
Oh, I do.
understand them all too
And I
well.
was just trying to answer Mrs. Walker's question.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
question.
Morales.
And one other thing I just wanted to finish it with is that because one of the issues we had was the retroactivity of pay, I just want to inform the council that today a letter went out to the HR department to request for negotiations to start conducted in March. So we're trying to not have the same thing happen again. So we're
Thank
doing
you.
our part in
Thank
that
you.
aspect.
Thank you, Mr. Morales.
All right, good.
Okay, like I said, we're gonna move item number 8 to the head of the agenda so that Mr. Dale can speak to us and tell us what's happening with Seaport Airline Services.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. It's my pleasure to introduce our president of Seaport Airlines, Rob McKinney.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, esteemed council. It is truly an honor and privilege to stand before you today representing what has been El Centro and the Imperial Valley's hometown airline for the past year and a half. And essentially, I'm here asking for your support to support us for another 4-year contract so that we can continue providing air service to your great city and to the Imperial Valley. In a nutshell, we're going to continue offering 12 round trips a week to both San Diego and to Burbank. Since we have started, we've added 2 official airline partners, those being Alaska Airlines and Hawaiian Airlines. And we also are in negotiations right now with all 3 major airlines, United, Delta, and American, and we're getting fairly close to a partnership with Virgin America. We also intend to continue our low fares that we've had. Our fares will be as low as $49 to both cities. And our average fare has been in the low $70 range, and we intend to continue that. Also, new products that we intend to roll out in 2015 are commuter books to make it easier for the frequent traveler and the business traveler to fly on any segment that we offer in Lower California. We're going to be offering trip insurance and online check-in, as well as $25 student fares. I know that promotion is a very important aspect to that, and we're going to be able to actually increase the amount of promotion that we do in the coming cycle if we're so selected again. And we have intentions already on increasing billboards, radio advertisement, print advertisement, targeted online web advertisements, social outreach, and you've also seen us in many community events, and we intend to continue that presence. Our commitment to the Valley has been when we, as you remember, when we started service, it was only to San Diego, and we saw that that seemed to be not as successful as we had hoped. We petitioned the DOT and added Burbank as a second destination, and even though that cost us more, we didn't ask for more money from the community or from the DOT. We absorbed that to be able to provide a better service to the Imperial Valley. Additionally, we hired a National Director of Community Affairs who happens to live right here in your great area, Mr. Dale here. So no community in the entire Seaport system has better access to give us feedback or to ask for changes or improvements than does El Centro. We've added a Spanish language call center that is located right here at the Imperial County Airport. Whenever possible, we spend money with local businesses, and to date, we've donated $25,000 in donation or in-kind travel since we've started service. So just real briefly, I kind of want to compare the two options that you have before us. I have no particular gripe with other airline. I wish I could come here and say they're crummy. I know them all personally, and they're good people. But I think there's a stark contrast between the choice that you face. We're still going to offer 2 destinations. They're going to offer 1 destination. We're going to offer 4 round trips a day. They're offering 2 round trips a day. Our average fare is within pennies of each other, according to the 2 proposals. However, they're projecting that they're going to carry 4,500 more passengers than us with fewer destinations and fewer frequencies and the exact same fare. Additionally, if you look at completion performance, Seaport has completed 98% of our flights since we started here, and system-wide, our competitor completes 78% of their flights. So if you factor in that your frequency is already going to be cut in half, and then if you factor on a completion rate that's way more dismal than ours, then your actual amount of flights that you're going to get is going to be drastically reduced. In short, though, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve your community. We have loved being here. We have been able to grow and prosper. We also are very proud that we've kept our commitment that we have offered and kept no matter what service that we have increased. We have never affected or altered or put second the service, our commitment to El Centro, whereas our competitor wants to do tail-end frequencies where it's kind of like what you had with your previous carrier where you get whatever's left over, 2 flights maybe in the middle of the day. We continue to overnight a plane here. We continue to overnight a crew here so that we are dedicated to make sure that we're providing the absolute best service possible to your city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Comments from the council? Mr. Cardenas?
Well, I know that Mr. Dale's here, and you have great staff down there, and I believe Councilmember Villegas Walker is your #1 fan because she's always encouraging us to use your service. You know, the only thing is, you know, I usually use some of the third party, the Expedia and the Orbitz, and I've tried to kind of match up a flight, and it's still, when I do the search, it's still a little bit more expensive to fly out of there. And it doesn't seem like that $49 rate or that discounted rate's not showing up in the third party travel situation. Do you have any insight on why that may not be showing up, or maybe some suggestions?
Sure. It depends on how you do the search. So right now, we do have just the 2 interline partners. So if you search from El Centro to any city that either Alaska or Hawaiian serves, you will see that lowest fare. It'll combine the lowest fare of Alaska or Hawaiian and the lowest fare of Seaport. The problem is if you search a city that is not served by one of those 2, it'll either say no flights found or it'll try to cobble together, and then you're not going to get the best service. So if we add another major carrier, that problem will drastically go away. But right now, if you don't going to connect to one of those 2 airlines and you're seeing a connection, you're better served either searching El Centro to Burbank or El Centro to San Diego and then buying a separate ticket going on, because it's essentially going to be a separate ticket anyway.
Okay. I didn't know that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So I have my 4 flights on Seaport booked for the month.
Thank you so much, Ms. Walker.
I really appreciate you being here. We did have an opportunity for the Southern California Association of Governments to evaluate both proposals because, as you know, comments are due to the Department of Transportation on either proposal by February 13. what I'm looking to you to help me with a little bit is, we're in danger of losing our air service altogether. So we wouldn't be choosing between either proposal. It would be gone unless we see our enplanements come up to an average of 10 per day. Now, one of the things about going with the other carrier is that they are offering more seats per plane, and there's some thought that going into LAX, more people would be inclined to fly out of Imperial if they could go to LAX. I am really, really advocating for all of the cities and the county to stay the course with Seaport. But that's contingent upon Seaport's commitment to keep those enplanements at 10 or higher. So can you talk a little bit for us about what you're doing, not only in addition to the marketing, but how you've been performing recently, and then how you feel we're going to go through with this next round of Department of Transportation inquiries into our waiver status?
Sure, I appreciate the question. So the last 4 months of 2014, we were well above the 10 employment cutoff. I don't have January numbers quite yet, but we were on a trend that was very, very promising, and I feel very heartened that we're there and we're going in the right direction. The things that we put in place up until now was we had real heavy investment into the world-class reservation system that started getting major airlines to say yes to us to become our partners. Because as a smaller airline, they see us as somewhat marginal value, but if we make it real easy and inexpensive for them by investing in this software, then they've started to say yes one at a time. And the more of those that come online, you'll do nothing but take off and have more opportunity, be easier to search for flights in other destinations. But now that that's a sunk cost to us as far as building up that reservation, now we can really focus on marketing effort. We can as a matter of fact, we're going to be having a booth at the upcoming fair that Mr. Dale will be sponsoring, and we are very, very cognizant of that rule. We're taking it very seriously. That it does us no good to fall below that number either. That would be as much as a failure to us as it is to what it would be to your community. And to speak just briefly to the thoughts that it might be better to go to LAX and it might be better to have a larger aircraft, is a year and a half ago you had both of those things. You had service to LAX, you had a full-on United code share, and you had the exact same plane that's being offered to you right now, and your numbers were dismal and sinking rapidly because mostly of the terrible scheduling that's not going to get any better with the new carrier. And as a matter of fact, I didn't point it out, we're going to be opening Visalia, California to both Burbank and to Sacramento here shortly, and we're replacing that exact same carrier. They're fleeing from them, and they're under the same threat as you are. If they don't keep their 10 enplanements, they're going to lose their service too, and they're choosing Seaport as the more viable option to do that.
We'll be able to go Imperial, Burbank to Visalia?
Mm-hmm. And if you so chose, Visalia on up to Sacramento.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, everyone that I've talked with, I'm seriously advocating, and that's why this is an action item actually on our agenda tonight, so that if it is the desire of the council, we will be submitting a letter of support for the EAS proposal submitted by Seaport. And the last thing I want to say is you've got the best customer service person on the planet in Mr. Dale there. The ultimate demonstration of customer service. Seaport could not get a plane into Imperial for whatever reason. I had to get to Sacramento. Mr. Dale drove me to San Diego, slowed down to about 12 miles an hour, pushed me out of the car at the airport so that I could make a Southwest flight and still get up there. I can't remember how long ago that was, but I really appreciate it still.
Thank you for that feedback. And yes, you are fortunate that he happens to be here, but he does those exact same kinds of things all over the country. He has new friends now in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, which he never even thought he would ever be in.
Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I've many of us in this community have flown your airline, and I've flown it a few times also. And customer service is great. Jeff does a great job, and I think we all recognize that. It's certainly nice having a homegrown individual that representing your company and giving us the access that we have. And Mr. Mayor, I noticed that we did have this on for action, and I would be willing to motion or support a motion to submit a letter of support from the city of El Centro. I think, all of us, we do some travel up to LA and beyond, and I think a lot of us have used the service. We've been very happy. I utilized the service beforehand, before Seaport, with United, and you're talking about traveling a whole day in advance to get to Sacramento. I'm sure a lot of us remember that. It just wasn't worth it for a lot of us in the community to use that service. And the thought of reverting back to that and basically taking the option off the table of flying out of our local airport, I think is something that I'm certainly not willing to take a step back. And I like the fact that you've expanded some of your services. I know you guys are flying into San Felipe, and that's giving our community some access to some weekend getaways and things of that sort. So if
Let me see if Ms. Sanders has any comments. Mr. Sanders, you have any comments?
None, no more than in support. So if Mr. Jackson's was a
I
motion,
think
then
it's too late. Okay, there's a motion by Walker, second by Jackson to submit a letter in support of the Seaport proposal. Any additional comments? Please ballot. Passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dale.
Okay, let's get back on the agenda.
You popped
There's
around so
nothing,
much,
there's
I'm
nothing
like,
to
what?
pull out of consent because there's no consent.
Okay.
consent.
Okay, so let's move on to our next item, which is a public hearing, approval of final mitigated negative deck 1304 for the LaBrucherie Avenue Road widening project, a presentation by our planning director.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. The project before you is an environmental review document, a mitigated negative declaration for a project that the city has initiated, and that's the widening of LaBrucherie Road. The actions before you tonight will be just review the mitigated negative declaration and certify the environmental document in order to proceed with the process. And part of that process would require the acquisition of right-of-way from property owners along the project area. The project location, as you may be aware, runs from Barbara Worth Drive to Orange Avenue, and it's approximately 2,600 linear feet of road improvements. Just in regards to the land use and zoning surrounding the LaBrucherie Road, to the east, you have high, medium density residential. To the west, you have low density residential and general commercial. To the north, you have general commercial, and then to the south, you also have public and low density residential. In regards to zoning, the uses that you find within this area are multifamily residential, single-family residential, general commercial, limited use zone, heavy commercial, and also single-family residential. The project description is basically widening the LaBrucherie Road. Again, from Orange Avenue to Barbara Worth. And the acquisition of right-of-way will be required in order to expand the roadway to 112 feet. Overall, a total of 11 properties would be partially or fully impacted by the project. In regards to the environmental review document, the mitigated negative declaration analyzed the potential projects, impacts to the project, and those were associated with air quality, greenhouse gas emissions, and noise. It was, after doing the analysis, it was found that all impacts will be less than significant. In regards to air quality, there will be a mitigation that would require that all construction-related activities be conducted as per the air quality handbook in regards to equipment and PM10. In regards to greenhouse gas emissions, again, the construction emissions should not exceed more than the allowed standard under air quality. And in regards to noise, there might be an impact to noise which will be less than significant, and most of the impact would be during the construction phase. So in summary, what we are requesting at this point is adoption of the mitigated negative declaration.
Thank you, Ms. Vicaña. Ms. Sanders, any questions or comments?
Well, excuse me, yeah, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. The comment, as I looked at the backup material, I noticed that property owners are in agreement with this, so I think that's a plus. That's a plus.
We've had good feedback from property owners. Of course, they have questions, and those questions, what we've informed them during the Planning Commission meeting is that the city will be engaging the service of a firm that will start doing the negotiations and the appraisals of the properties or whatever right-of-way is required for the project.
That's my only question, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders. Ms. Jackson?
I'm just glad to see this project starting
Long overdue.
to come out. Yeah, it's way overdue, and really from a standpoint of safety, I know that there's a lot of people that don't realize that the outside lane doesn't go straight, and they cut off people in the intersection, and you see a lot of near misses. And I travel La Boucherie a lot because I live over in that area, and I've seen it myself. So I'm glad that this is finally coming in front of us, and I look forward to the project.
Thank you.
I'm glad Mr. Jackson will stop cutting me off in traffic. But no, I agree. It's going to relieve some of the congestion on some of our other roadways and improve safety. So I am, congratulations moving this forward.
Scarlett, anything?
You know, just again, just echo the similar comments, but in your crystal ball and that you have, I know in your office, as far as the timeline goes, I mean, when can we actually see the fruits of this labor here?
Well, the first task was completing the environmental review. After the environmental review, then I'll defer to Terry.
Year and a half.
Year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Great work.
Yeah, I same thing. I think it's something that is way overdue. We're glad that we're finally here. My only question, Ms. Vicaña, is you said some of the properties that will be acquired for right-of-way are partial properties and some are full properties. Those that are full properties, is that they encompass the entire width of the project, or is it going to be property beyond that will have to be acquired by the city?
Actually, there's 2 properties that will need to be acquired completely. The other 9 properties would be partially just right away. Those 2 properties, yes, basically one, there's a dwelling that's right on the.
That's the one in the corner?
And the one at the corner, so the entire property will not be required, but would probably be negotiated and purchased.
Okay, very well. Okay, so I'm looking for a motion from council to approve Resolution 15.
You have to open a hearing.
I'm sorry, yes, thank you very much for that. This is a public hearing. Is any member of the audience that wishes to provide input or feedback on this item?
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, I just want to get a point of clarification on the resolution. And when I got these documents, they seem to me to exclude the Main Street intersection portion of the project and also the Orange Avenue portions of the project. So if you look at, for example, if you go to your packet, page 42, specifically page 43, 42 is starts the project description. And in the second paragraph on your packet, page 43, there's a pretty detailed description of the paragraph of the project. And as we've been to Planning Commission, this is what we understood the project to be. Of course, the property that I'm here over is the impact to those addresses: 1993, 95, 97, 99 West Main Street. And when I got the packet for the council meeting, I'm looking at the resolution, and it just seemed like, given the map on the back and the property description in the resolution, that all it was talking about was simply the brewery. So a tad bit misleading, and I wonder if maybe the resolution could be a couple of words added or something just to make it a little bit more clear, not just for me, but for anybody that might be looking in the future, because I'm here under the admonishment that if you don't speak up now, forever hold your peace.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Khan, you want to address that?
If I understand correctly, I believe the resolution addresses the entire project, and the entire project would be what's in the document, and I will defer to the city attorney.
Perhaps, Norma, if it would help if you could direct us to a page that might reflect the comments that were made or the concerns that was addressed, to see whether or not we can bring some clarity and consistency.
Yes, the resolution would be,
Packet page 116.
and the project description is within the environmental review document, which is, I'm sorry, what page did you
Yeah,
go?
let me get that for you. It starts on packet page 42. Second paragraph of that is on packet page 43.
If I could refer you to page 35 of the M&D, it says project components, and it lists the second paragraph before the end of the page. It lists all the properties that will be impacted, and it does include the 1993, 1995, 1997 Main Street.
And 99.
Yes. Orange Avenue, and that's, I think that the address is off of La Boucherie, and there's an address off of Olive. So those, yeah.
There is one that's 501 West Orange, I'm sorry, West Olive.
Yes. So basically, these addresses are what was in the PowerPoint, and that's on page, you could see that on figure 4 of the M&D.
Page 48.
Which page is that now?
Page.
Page 48, Norm.
348?
Mr. McConnell.
Oh, 348?
Yes. Yes, in the environmental
Oh,
document, which becomes the record, is on page 48, it describes the project area.
Yes.
And there's where you see the Orange Avenue areas, also all the parcel numbers along with the impacted APN numbers. Because that is the document that you're adopting. How you address the resolution, I turn to the city attorney, but what you are adopting is the main document there. That is what's looked at as we go forward under CEQA.
Well, and that's what the resolution provides for, that you're adopting the document. But if you want us to add some words that, because I think what you're objecting to is the title, right? Or the way that the project is described.
The description in the resolution was not what we were familiar with from our time with the Planning Commission. And then back and looked at the document, which is more expansive, and I understand space is limited, but I think that there's probably 2 or 3 words that could be thrown in there into that resolution itself, either within the whereas clause, or you could add a few words like to include.
Well, does it not,
Description, the intersection at Olive and what was the other?
Orange?
Couldn't we just use the same project description that was in the Planning Commission resolution?
I believe this was.
Is that what it is?
That is it.
Or, if I may, Mr. Mayor, or could we just not include into the resolution, reference this document?
But we do. I mean, I
It
think
is.
that's
So
what the
where
whereas
but-
is.
but yeah, but I'm
We're the
wondering.
custodians of the records or material that constitute the record of proceedings upon which our decision is based. And so that's
So-
kind of a catch-all for
So how,
all of this.
does that then, sir, answer
I
the?
read that, and I think that's probably true. I think
What if we just attached a map?
personally
showing the project area.
That would work.
Thank-
Okay.
Would that work? Would that work, Ms. Becker?
So amend the resolution to reference the map, which will be attached to the resolution as Exhibit A?
Or just under the project description, just say as more fully defined in the map attached here too.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So with that modification, would that address your concern, sir? Okay. Anything else, Ms. Caña?
That's it.
Any additional comments from council?
None.
Okay, I'm looking for,
A vote.
you already have it?
Close the
Close the public.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes. Second meeting as a mayor, so I'm catching up with the protocols. Any additional comments from the public? So I'm going to close the public hearing. Thank you. I'm looking for a motion. It's been moved by Cardenas, second by Jackson, for approval of mitigative negative deck number 1505, approving mitigated negative declaration number 1304 with mitigation and monitoring reporting program for the LaBrucherie Avenue Road widening projects. Let's ballot, please. Motion passes 5-0.